On the 17th of September, we got our first look at the long rumoured and exciting Monster Hunter Rise for the Switch. There were talks from up to 2 years ago that Capcom were preparing a new Monster Hunter game exclusively for the system. At the time, due to the instant success of World, no one would believe that they'd go back to exclusive games again. Yet here we are, with Monster Hunter Rise exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. I'm here to tell you why that is, why it's not surprising, and why it's an amazing decision by Capcom. Monster Hunter World was released on the 26th of January 2018, first on two systems, the Xbox One and the PS4, and later on PC on August the 9th. Each release came to huge success, breaking sales records of the Monster Hunter series, now in November being at around 16.1 million for World and 5.8 million for Iceborne. These were numbers not even Capcom were expecting. The Western world really seemed to find interest in Monster Hunter World. Other games in the series had found a lot of success worldwide, yet not as successful as Monster Hunter World. Games such as Monster Hunter 4U selling 4.2 million on one system alone, or Monster Hunter Gen at 4.3 are great numbers for games on a smaller budget compared to World. Monster Hunter has been a series where the popularity has been rising and rising over years, and World really helped boost that greatly. So why would they release the next game on the Switch only? For that, we'd have to go back to early in the Switch's life cycle. We heard reports that Capcom, along with other devs, convinced Nintendo to up the RAM from 3 to 4 GB, as it would help them to have more capabilities for the games in the future on the system. Putting 2 and 2 together, we can assume now, 4 years later, that the game in mind was Monster Hunter Rise. We also heard reports from 3 years ago that Capcom were preparing a Monster Hunter game for the Switch in time, probably waiting for a larger store base. There was an interesting Eurogamer interview between Tsujimoto and Ichinose, where they were asked how long the game has been in development for. And from the interview, they said it's been in development for about 4 years in total. It's quite a while. So this game was already in development while Monster Hunter World was being worked on also. Thus linking back to the reasons why they asked Nintendo to boost the amount of RAM in the system in the first place. It seems after Ichinose-san finished supporting Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, he was asked to direct the next Monster Hunter game for the Nintendo Switch, which turned out to be Monster Hunter Rise. Now according to Gaijin Hunter, and don't worry, I'll leave a link to his channel below, Capcom have an A team and a B team. I don't remember what video he was talking about this in. I watched all of his videos and it was a couple years ago, so just bear with me on this one. And by the way, they're not A and B team by their skill, it's rather just a way of lettering them to distinguish what team they are. The A team work on the mainline series, while the B team work on the portable games, or the experimental ones such as Monster Hunter Generations. So while the A team was working on World, the B team was working on Rise. That's how both games were in development at the same time. Now if you're a person who's been thinking why Rise isn't on every system, it's a similar reason to why World isn't on every system, and why Capcom have two teams to address this. The Switch runs on a different architecture compared to the other systems, as it runs on an ARM processor, while the other systems are all running on x86. This would make development much different compared to the other platforms, so a straight port would never really turn out to be just a straight port. You also have to take into consideration that the Switch isn't as powerful as other systems, and it has a portable nature. Going back to the interview with Eurogamer, they asked, so development had started before Monster Hunter World came out. Did you ever explore the option of bringing it to Switch? Ichinose replied saying, to be honest, not really, because we do treat each title as its own concept, and you can't ignore the hardware you're releasing it on when you're designing the game. If you've got something like the Nintendo Switch, which is pick up and play, you can play anywhere. You don't necessarily want the same game experiences which is designed, assuming you're sitting in front of a big TV on a sofa for 4 hours straight. You want to be able to design a game that you can pick up for 30 minutes on the go, before bed, and get something out of that experience. And that really affects the gameplay design. And you can't just bring that over and have it be the same. So we never really considered that when it came to Monster Hunter World. They designed the game to play with the hardware strengths, thus a World experience on Switch would require a lot of time to optimize and a lot of money. It wouldn't really be the best experience on the system, and since in World you're always online, so it wouldn't work in a portable nature. And same on Rise, on other systems, not having portability really hinders the local type of play and the game design in general that they're looking for. It's better for both games to be designed for their hardware in mind, for better products overall. So I'm expecting Monster Hunter World 2 to be released in 2022 or 23 on the Series X, S, PlayStation 5 and PC. The A team must have some ideas what they want to do in the future, so I guess we have to wait and see. So let's move into some financial reasons or benefits that Capcom will have by being on the Switch. I've gathered stats from different sites which will be in the description below. It states the Switch has sold 65 million systems since September of this year, and by the time Rise comes out, it's looking like it might be 75 million, which will be 4 years since the Switch came out. From October 2018 to March 2019, the Switch sold about 12 million units in that span alone, and next year, in October 2019 this time, to March 2020, another 13 million. With the state the world is in, it's hard to say if there will be another 12 million sold in that period this time. And also, the new systems are coming out this year too. Yet some analysts say that the Switch will be the biggest console item for this holiday. The Switch is a powerhouse in sales, and thanks to Gematsu, we have hardware numbers in Japan. The Switch alone has sold over 15.5 million units, while the PS4 is around 9 million and the Xbox One is around 100k. Monster Hunter Rise with its Japanese culture will sell incredibly well over there, and if you consider the sales of other Monster Hunter games released only in Japan, this game should be a force to be reckoned with. For example, Monster Hunter 4 with 4.1 million sold, or Portable Third with 4.9 million. It seems Monster Hunter in the past has always done amazingly well in that region. And with the Switch and its ratio of games selling to consoles being the highest it's ever been on a Nintendo system before, I'm expecting in Japan alone the game is probably going to sell around 4 to 6 million copies lifetime. There was an article written up by Nintendo Life saying Capcom expected Rise to sell more than 1 million to their investors. I can't remember who they are, but some people from Twitter came up and said that was actually incorrect. And the 1 million figure was actually what they expected by the end of the physical year, so the 26th of March to the 1st of April. So 1 million within 5 days alone. Capcom are expecting big from this game, and I'm thinking it could probably sell about 4 to 6 million outside of Japan too. But let's see if I turn out right, although I did kind of give a large range between the numbers to be honest. If we look at world individually for each system, I've gathered some stats from places like Steam Spy, which isn't the most accurate anymore sadly, but it says that the game sold around 5 to 10 million on PC alone. As for the PS4, VG Charts, which also isn't that much of a reliable source I've heard, it says it sold around 4 million, and on Wikipedia it says around 4.67 million sales on the PS4, while on Xbox it says around 1 million or so. Finding platform specific numbers is quite difficult, so I'm assuming that PS4 stands at about maybe 5.56 million sold overall in world so far, 16 million on the base and 5 million on DLC between 3 systems. But the fact that Monster Hunter was always exclusive in the past, those are great numbers. But also, the Switch is a very popular system, and sales for the game should be expected to be quite favourable. For example, Monster Hunter Gen U on the Switch, a 4-year-old 3DS port, was announced a year ago to have sold over 1 million copies, and Capcom was really happy with those numbers. I mean, that game is amazing, but for a game like that to sell over 1 million, and that was a year ago, just imagine what it's on now. Definitely since Monster Hunter Rise was announced, Capcom put a big sale on the game and it was almost at the top of the charts. So I'm guessing that game right now is probably at 1.5 million copies to be honest, maybe even 6. But overall, Capcom have put them in a good position to have the potential to release 2 Monster Hunter games every 5 years, giving a great experience to the fanbase wherever you play. And if you don't want to buy another system, just give it probably a couple of years and you'll be able to play the next game on the system of your choice. Or, you could just jump on the Monster Hunter hunting train. So no matter where it leads you, just play wherever you want, man. But yep, thanks for watching guys, that's the end of the video. After this long ass recording session, fucking hell, I'm tired. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave some comments below, tell me what you think. I'm thinking maybe my numbers are a bit too much. I mean I said 4 to 6 in Japan, and I think I said 4 to 6 everywhere else in the world. Yeah, that's quite a lot. That's coming up to literally like 8 to 12. That's like more than half of world sales on one system. Maybe that's a bit too much. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna limit it to probably like maybe 7 overall, 7 million on one system. But I don't know. Who knows? Let's see what happens. Monster Hunter World raised a lot of fans in the game, a lot of fans for the series, and maybe they'll come over to Rise for that specific reason. But I guess we have to see. So yep, leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. Have a great day, guys. See you.